This is Mountain West Voices. I'm Clay Scott. Today's story is about a tiny urban farm in Missoula, Montana, where kids from the Tom Roy Youth Home grow vegetables by the ton. They sell some of the produce to local folks who buy shares in the harvest. They donate some of it to other homes and shelters in Missoula, and they consume a lot of it themselves. It's a pretty neat collaborative project. The kids get paid through the Human Resource Council, and the farming expertise and leadership comes from Corey Ash. She's from another local nonprofit, Garden City Harvest. It's all pretty impressive, especially when you consider that the thousands of pounds of beautiful chard and tomatoes and Chinese cabbage and garlic and kale that they grow at the North Avenue Youth Farm comes from what 3 years ago was an acre and a half of knapweed behind the Tom Roy Youth Home. On the day I visited, the ground was half covered with dirty snow, but Corey Ash was already getting organized for this year's planting season. I found her in the common room of the Tom Roy home, recruiting her next crop of farmers.
Have you worked on a farm?
Yeah, I worked at the River Road Garden with Greg.
Yeah.
And then when I was in Kalispell, we used the group home had 3 slots of theirs. We had like 2 with vegetables and 1 with flowers. So we would go in and like pull weeds and each had a day.
Corey's worked in agriculture for a lot of years, mostly on small, diversified farms like this one. She says on the surface, the youth farm isn't all that different from some other places she's worked. After all, a tomato is a tomato. But she also says that her job here has a whole range of challenges and rewards that make it different from anything else she's ever done.
I think that I'm teaching them that there are places in their life where they can just be normal kids, where they're not always a resident at a residential home, or they're not a kid in the Department of Corrections, or they're not a foster care kid. They're just a person with a job, and sharing with them that work can be meaningful. I think that is probably the most important thing I do. I give them a environment that they can feel like they're proud of what they're doing.
The kids at the Tom Roy Youth Home are from 16 to 18. They're from a variety of backgrounds, and they've come to the home for a variety of reasons. Some of them are in high school, and some are working on their GED. All of them are trying to save a little money and learn some skills that will help them when they're on their own. For some of the kids, a season working on the youth farm is a great opportunity.
I'm Anthony Casablanca. I'm 17 years old. I currently live at Tom Roy Youth Home. I've been here a couple months. I was in another facility. You get a lot more freedoms here. You just kind of get to do your own thing most of the time. Just the aspect of having a job that I live at the place I'm going to be working at, so it's going to be really easy to set up. I don't have to worry about like getting to work on time, you know what I mean? Because I just wake up and go out there whenever I need to, so it's going to be really easy in that aspect. And just give me a place to start off at, you know what I mean?
I'm Miranda, I'm 17, I live at Tom Roy Youth Homes over on Central Street. I'm just excited to be out there in the summertime and be out in the heat and grow vegetables and then being able to eat them at lunch, and you can hang out around people you care about and you have fun with, and you don't have to worry about not being being yourself. You can be who you want to be and not get judged.
When I'm doing hard physical work like that, my mind just wanders off different places. I daydream about stuff or fantasize about stuff. When you're doing work like that, is there something that you think about?
Yeah, being in a group home setting, I always think about like what I would do when I was at home. But sometimes, it comes a lot easier with me like being focused on something that I'm doing in the moment instead of like, oh well, I just planted carrots, now I'm gonna go talk about what I'm gonna do when I'm 18. Like it's definitely hard to focus on the garden, but the more you focus on it, the better it's gonna get.
It feels like a great success to have an 18-year-old kid who was a Department of Corrections kid ask for kale for lunch. Has the farm really changed his life in a crazy way? Maybe not, but he's learning how to cook for himself. He's learning the basics, how to grow food for himself, and he's learning how to work with other people. So, really to me, it's like, does a kid want to be there? Do they want to participate in the process? When a kid starts asking me, do you need some help over the weekend? Or is there anything else I can do? Those kinds of questions, and all of a sudden the farm is their place, then that feels like a success.
You've been listening to Mountain West Voices. Our series is produced in association with the O'Connor Center for the Rocky Mountain West, a regional studies and public education program of the University of Montana. Additional support for today's program was provided by the Greater Montana Foundation. To learn more about the work of Youth Homes and Garden City Harvest, and to listen to and download dozens of archived stories from around the Rocky Mountain West, go to mountainwestvoices.org. I'm Clay Scott.